Good afternoon, ladies and gents. My name is Debayan. I am the Chief Data Officer for MyCare, where we are leveraging bleeding-edge advances in AI to transform the lives of older adults for the better. And today, I want to share with you one of the many frontiers of clinical applications of AI that we have been working at for the past 4 years. With a show of hands, how many people in the wonderful audience here today work in digital health tech, NHS, or with the adult social care services in any capacity? Quite a few. But for the rest of you, I believe that you will have something interesting to learn about today. It is now possible to predict whether you're likely to develop neurodegenerative conditions like dementia months in advance using nothing but the sound of your footsteps while you go about your day-to-day life. Let's try to break it down. We will take a multidisciplinary approach spanning across gait analysis, biomarker engineering, and acoustic machine learning, also called machine hearing. When I say the sound of your footsteps, I mean that literally. All animals, including human beings, have their unique characteristic way to walk, which we call as gait. The human gait produces distinct sounds, which are caused by the anatomical structure of the bones of our feet. Each step creates a sound which has a very distinct shape when you analyze it in terms of its energy content. We have developed AI systems that look for this specific pattern of sound from the acoustic ambience you have in your home. Gait is an extremely valuable biomarker for health. This means that medical experts can use gait as an indicator for certain medical conditions, but only if you know what you're looking for in someone's gait. We have ample of established peer-reviewed clinical literature which says that gait can be used to predict fall risk, mobility levels, frailty levels, and onset of neurodegenerative conditions like dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease. We went through this literature along with medical consultants and filtered down the easiest characteristics that one can look for in the gait. These characteristics are also called gait parameters. We found 3 gait parameters that are relevant to our current topic: cadence, step time, and stride time. So cadence is the number of steps you take per minute. Step time is the amount elapsed between heel strikes, or like every step of your alternate feet, so left, right, left. So that's the step time. And stride time is the difference between the time taken for your left feet to strike the ground again, so between the same feet. The literature has already established kind of like a cookbook to use these parameters for assessment, pre-screenings, and diagnostics. We simply needed to follow their lead. We are interested in gait because it can be used for assessing onset and progression of cognitive decline due to neurodegenerative conditions. We are interested in gait because it can be used for phenotyping, that is, to identify particular kinds of cognitive decline. For example, you can use gait to differentiate between vascular dementia and Lewy body dementia. Predicting for falls was one of the primary reasons we at MyCare were very interested in gait analysis, as one of the core use cases that we service is to reduce and, if possible, prevent hospitalizations due to falls in older adults. This leads to the need to develop a good frailty index or a score that can tell clinicians and carers how much care time should be allocated to an older adult? Before we proceed, I want to quickly show you the outcome of this AI system for gait analysis that I've been referring to for so long. The graphs that you see here are the trends in the gait parameters that we dug up, analyzing papers which are shown to predict for dementia specifically. So right on the top, you see cadence, which is the number of steps per minute. And what I'm showing you over there is the mean of the cadence aggregated over some windows of days, in this case, weeks. So you see that for this person, and you see the setup that we have on the left-hand side. This is a care home setup. You have one PIR sensor telling us whether the person is in the room or not. And then you have the MyCube, which is the core IoT device that we provide as part of our core offering, set up right beneath the chair so that it just listens for footsteps and nothing more. So you see that the cadence that we captured for this person, her name is Pam, over a course of 8 to 9 months, her cadence, or the mean in her cadence, has dropped down. Right? That's a 21% approximately drop that you see over there. In the other three graphs right below, or subplots, that you see are the standard deviation in the step time and the stride time of each feet. The literature says the variance, or in this case the standard deviation, is much more interpretable for us to look into it. It has increased over time. That means their gait is more irregular over time. What this is a direct, you might say, prediction that the person is developing some sorts of cognitive decline. And as of January of this year, Pam has progressed from MCI, mild cognitive impairment, to the early stages of dementia. The value and the benefit of this AI technology is tremendous. We aim to use gait analysis to intervene early by letting family members and carers know about the potential onset and deterioration before it gets to an advanced stage. Even if you do not have cognitive decline, this AI can be used to personalize digital therapeutics in the form of daily activity suggestions that you can do if you're in mobility rehab, for instance. Now that we understand kind of what it is, let's look under the hood and see how does it actually work. First, a quick recap. The audience here is aware of the many kinds of AI technology that is out there. You must have seen Tesla's vision-based AI for self-driving cars. You are well aware of OpenAI's ChatGPT technology and how it has already disrupted so many areas in our lives since it was launched earlier this year. These two are vision and language-based, which are commonly known AI domains. A less discussed domain of AI is acoustic or audio-based machine learning, also called machine hearing. The most common application of this AI tech is speech recognition, which powers Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant. But what I am referring to is a more holistic variation, which looks at all types of audio in all types of acoustic environments. If you use vision AI models to analyze gait, you might be trying something like a key point detection approach. You can clearly make out the distinct gait phases for Peter here, who is a MyCube user. And here he is volunteering for our experiments at a Sunday church service. We got hold of him and some of our other MyCube users right after they finished the service, and we told them we want to do some more experiments on you. And literally in the church, we're asking them to walk to and fro, while the others just look at us with weird stares, like what are the guys doing with sensors and microphones on the church stage in front of Jesus. If you were to, again, use vision AI models to analyze the sound of footsteps, you might be attempting to use spectrograms, which is a visual representation of the variation of frequencies of sound with time, where the intensity is shown by the color in the spectrogram, which is the top graph over there, and the bottom graph is the noisy sound wave. And the green area that I've highlighted is actually footsteps of another older adult. His name is Andre. He doesn't have dementia, but he has other medical conditions, but we still keep people in control groups to see how does gait vary for various older adults at various age groups with different medical conditions. If we were to analyze the sound using machine hearing techniques, you will be able to pinpoint out each footstep in the recording as shown here with the red dots. And each of them is one step, which is the heel strike when your feet hits the ground. The team at MyCare, after 4 years of careful data collection and analysis, has been able to develop a fully functional, commercially ready, end-to-end AI system which passively and non-intrusively extracts sound of footsteps of older adults in an indoor home setting and analyzes it over time for trends indicative of fall risk, frailty, and of course, neurodegenerative conditions like dementia. We call the system MyGait. MyGait is the child of a collaborative R&D project codenamed Adaptive, funded by the Innovate UK between 2020 and 2022. This project was conceived and spearheaded by MyCare in collaboration with the University of Kent, NHS East Kent, Graham Care, and Avanti Care, with a cohort of 39 older adult residents in domiciliary and residential care at various stages of cognitive decline. MyGait demonstrated successfully it can differentiate between older adults and the care staff. It can track progress of dementia from an earlier to advanced stages, and it can differentiate between individuals like a biometric, which is an unintended side effect that we didn't intend to have, but it came to be, which is nice. If you see that those two red and blue blobs right on the the first graph that you see, that's differentiating between people who have dementia and people who do not have dementia. The blue one is the one with dementia, and the red one are without dementia. On the right to that graph, which you see is now we try to say, okay, given those two clusters, can you separate between two people by their colors? And it can do so in those clusters. Each color represents a different person. On the bottom, you see the TISNE, or you might say like the PCA and the TISNE of the gait parameters of two separate older adults who have dementia, but at various phases. And we see that within the course of the project, they progress from stage 2, 3 to stage 4 and 5. And you see the colors and how the gait parameters separate those two for the same person tracked over time. MyCare is now using MyGait in a smart grant funded project in collaboration with De Montfort University, Catapult Connected Places, and Willows Health, the primary GP service in Leicestershire. In this project, we are using our data and AI services to accelerate and optimize the discharge to assess care pathway, which was invented in 2018 and now enforced to put in place to reduce the burden on the NHS and its staff. Over the course of developing MyGait, we faced countless challenges. MyGait was developed for clinical applications, and so simple measures of AI, model accuracies don't really count here. To extract gait parameters, we need a minimum of 3 steps: left, right, left. To make sure we have those, the right estimates of those parameters for every older adult, we needed 9 to 12 steps minimum per day for each older adult, and that became our success metric, and not how good your model is in predicting footsteps. High F1 scores have a 0.9, doesn't matter. Can it detect consecutive steps is what matters. The AI model is thereby optimized for precision over recall for this to work in an indoor home ambient setting. To abide by data regulation laws like GDPR, we chose to develop AI models that work at edge only. This not only saved us a lot of cloud engineering effort and expenses, so to speak, AWS cost, if you know what I mean, but also focused on using core clinical expertise for building the model pipelines instead of just slapping XGBoost or a deep neural network on the data. This is not Kaggle, this is real life, and so we need to make sure clinical experts are there with us in every step of the machine learning and feature engineering process. When we started 4 years back, we had literally no data on this, and if you do a Google search right now, you will find maybe footsteps in the audio set, the Google's audio set from YouTube. You might find the chill acoustic data set. I don't know, that's like 10 years old now. You might find ESC50, environmental sound classification data set, which any audio machine learning beginner will come across, but they contain like 40 to 50 steps, and those are not of older adults. So we were literally starting from blank slate 101 or 100 for that matter. We had to develop new augmentation techniques to help us initially while we built the data collection infrastructure. Now we have over 6.5 terabytes of gait data collected over a period of 3 and 4 years so far. Me and my team are manually cataloging all of them. You cannot outsource this annotation to a third party because this requires clinical expertise. Your ears need to be tuned to actually listen for footsteps. A random door shutting is not a footstep, and you might be surprised to sort of see that many people they can mistake random sounds in an indoor setting for a footstep. So we are doing this manually. I had manually listened to around 2,700 footsteps of older adults, literally over burning the midnight oil, so that I can get good data for my model. And now I can say in my resume that I can detect footsteps very well. To prevent data leaks and thereby protect user privacy, gait works solely at edge. What we store in the cloud are just the gait parameters, just 3 numbers for each of them over the course of the day. No audio is ever uploaded to the cloud or saved in the device. My name is Debayan, and I hope I was able to spark an interest in the audience here in the tremendous potential of AI for social good and to help our elderly with the same love and effort as they have given us while we were growing up. Thank you for listening to my PyCon talk. I will now be open to take questions from the audience.
A great talk about a very current issue affecting lots of people. So questions, please. And somewhere there's another microphone. I don't know if somebody could grab that. But
Hi. I'd be interested to know how effective the model is in really complex individuals. So, for example, if you had data on individuals who had cognitive issues such as stroke, for example, has the model been able to distinguish at what point that turns into dementia, given it's sophisticated enough to distinguish the different types?
There are certain, I'd say, boundaries that we do not want to cross using this AI, right? So I know we can do this as a biometric, for example. I know we can differentiate between stages of dementia, like I showed over there, but we want to take a very conservative approach here. If you guys have heard about Babylon Health, if you overpromise too much on your AI, you're gonna have a hard time in the future. This requires rigorous clinical trials to make sure this is safe. So what we are trying to do right now because we need to do these trials over the course of a few years, and we are starting them right now. So what we're doing now is just doing them for early intervention kind of strategies. So moment the trajectory looks like, okay, you're going to go down in terms of cadence, right? We give you a small, what we call smart insight to a carer and let them know that this can be a trajectory if you do not do anything about it, and we stop over there. We do not exceed the line. Now, a gait clinician who knows what they're looking at will give them those tables of data over months, and then they can make the decision what to do in terms of prevention or intervention over there.
Thank you. Yep. Another question?
Thank you very much. Really interesting talk. I wondered, when you've got a setting where you've got carers coming in and other people visiting, how do you distinguish between the individuals in the room?
Just to clarify your question, you're saying that when there's an older adult in the room and there are other people coming in, how do we distinguish between them? Now, tech can distinguish between people, like I showed over there, but we do not rely on it. What we are very interested in is the cruising phase of gait. What I mean by that is, like, there are many existing tests, right? So when you're in a seated position, right, and when you get up, there's a test called the gait initiation test, right, which can affect your blood pressure, your heart rate, and those kind of phases. And the next step is when you are walking, you're initiating your walk, you're accelerating. We do not even consider that. So when you're in a cruising phase, like you're walking, like with your stick or something, that's when we are interested. Now, this only happens when there is, first of all, there's no one in the room, right? And this is usually when you're left alone. Let's say when you want to use the washroom at night, right? Absolute silence, you want to use the washroom once or twice a night, that's good enough. Like I said, we need 9 to 12 steps per day, right? So that is a perfect time for us to analyze your gait at that point of time.
Very clear.
You think that there is a deterioration going on, or is it something that you can go, actually there's a pattern here, and we only need 9 to 12 steps and we can pick it up, that there's dementia coming into the play?
See, if I go back to that graph over there, so this is a period of 8 to 9 months, right? And because we are not doctors, we are not exactly sure how long we should look out for. But we know the trends say that if you continue to look out this for a long period of time, the trends will appear. Based on this and the 39 other older adults that we have seen, who have either progressed from early stages of dementia to a later stage, or they had no diagnosis at all to MCI, or at the very early stage of dementia, we see that we need at least 8 to 12 months good data to at least get a sense of the trend. You can miss a day or two, right? Like, we need to operate in reality. We can miss a day or two as long as you have a weekly kind of aggregate statistics that where is the trend going of this parameter, and you have a standard deviation of error. I would say plus minus 10%. If you look at a Bland-Altman analysis of the plot, you're good to go. You just need to make sure that you're monitoring for a long enough time that you're confident in this, and that's why we need more rigorous, you might say, clinical trials with n is equal to more than 50 or 100 to make sure that whatever, you might say, thresholds that we put actually are reliable, given an age group, given a gender, and given even, you might say, specific ethnic groups, because Asians are less likely to have dementia. I do not know why, right? But we have to do studies to understand, okay, how long do we need to monitor for them? How long do you need to monitor for someone Caucasian or any other ethnic group? So there are other parameters in place, but 8 to 12 months, at least for the UK, is good enough.
Thank you.
Hi. Obviously, treatments for some of these conditions are few and far between. But in terms of tracking, like a patient's decline in some of these parameters,
Can you speak a little louder? I literally can't hear.
Sure, sorry. So treatments for these conditions are kind of like few and far between often, but in terms of tracking a patient's decline, is there a way you could kind of see your technology applied to see the effectiveness of certain treatments and sort of, is the decline kind of decreasing? Is there a quicker decline, that sort of thing?
That's actually one of the core services that we do here at MyCare, which is the digital therapeutics aspect of it, right? So what he was referring to is effectively how do you measure or how do you quantify clinical efficacy or any efficacy of this solution, and can you do anything about it? This is a part of what we call digital therapeutics. So you look at biomarkers that we want to, that is relevant to you. For example, if you're talking about weight loss, you're talking about diabetes, obesity management, you look at weight, you look at their nutrition, you look at their sleep cycles, right? And then you see, okay, what exactly needs looking into? A clinician or a doctor might tell you about it. And they say that, okay, look at how quickly the weight is dropping. Because if you drop, 5 kilos or 10 kilos in a week, you might be about to die, right? So you need to look at trends in the weight. You need to look at your sleep patterns, because sleep affects how much weight you lose or gain. And you obviously want to look at how much you're putting in your mouth. So once you have an understanding, or once you can capture those data, you develop, okay, given this trend, given that your sleep health is declining, maybe I want to suggest to you some good sleep meditation music while you're about to go to sleep, so that can help improve your sleep biomarkers. And if you do accept that recommendation and you do try to, do whatever the podcast or that clinical intervention says that you might do, and you take that advice seriously, and your health biomarkers improve, that's a loop that we have now closed. Now we look at other biomarkers that we need to improve. This is something that we do, and you might see that gait is one of the many biomarkers that you can look at to see that something is happening. For example, if you do not have dementia, but you have mobility, you're in a mobility rehab, or you have a hip surgery, and you want to get moving faster, you want to look at, okay, the gait parameters are like this. Let's look at given very specific exercise that is helpful for you. If the biomarkers improve over the few weeks, it works, and we quantify the efficacy. If it doesn't work, change your recommendation, and that's how you get clinical digital therapeutics personalized recommendations in your system. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, we've reached time. I detect in the room there's a lot more questions. I'm just going to encourage people to approach the banner during the various intervals this afternoon and pick up on the individual threads. So, fascinating talk. Let's give a round of applause for Dementia.